gonna click record. So you might have to click that little thingy on your screen. So this Zoom is actually going to be a little bit of a more of a breakdown from what Stacy had done on her Zoom call. When I upload it, I am going to tag Stacy's Zoom call. She sent me the link to it so I can upload it. So if you've not watched it, you absolutely want to go and watch that Zoom call that was breaking down Ruby and all the stuff. Now we're going to talk more shifting about the different there's 3 different things that you need to absolutely do in order to go Ruby. And some of us have already gotten on that track, already know what's up. You've already got it written down. You've, dotted your I's, you've crossed your T's, you know exactly how you're going to make it happen. And some of you've never even heard any of this before, or maybe you need a recap on what exactly it is and how to go for it. Okay. That's what we're here for. We're going to show you. So just show of hands, who's going for Ruby this month? Yay! That's so exciting. Okay, so I know that we have a lot of girls that are going Ruby. They're not on this Zoom call for whatever reason, but there's a lot of us, who are pushing for promotions this month. And the teamwork makes the dream work. And that's why we do these Zoom calls, is to help you. So I want to break this down for you. If you're on my team, I like to break things down into simple steps, 5 steps or less every single time. So you're going to want to keep up with me. If there's anything that you missed, put it in the chat. That way all of us can work together and kind of repeat exactly what I'm saying, because there's a lot to take in. And I want to make sure that you guys get everything that you need written down so then you can take action tonight. Don't skip a beat, make it happen. Let's go. Okay. So number 1, the first step to going Ruby is you got to know why you're going Ruby. Why are you doing this? My first why, I'm going to share this story with you guys because I always like to share it. My first why was that I wanted a new truck. Okay. It was very silly at first because I was behind on every single bill that I had, and I was $500 in the negative in 2 different accounts. I was losing my freaking house, but my first why was a new truck. Okay. The first 5 months of my business, I sat around and did nothing. Can you guess why? It was because I was not attached emotionally to that goal. I didn't need that new truck. I wasn't drawn to that new truck. I wasn't emotionally invested into getting a new truck. I had a truck already that could easily be fixed, but I just wanted a new truck. I wanted it for all the wrong reasons. Okay. And so you have to pull away from what you've always thought that you wanted, that everybody else really wants for you, right? And you have to start really looking inside of what you want your life to look like, aside from what your mom says, aside from what your dad says, what your brother says, what your sister says, what your husband says. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want? What's going to make you move? Okay. And so my why should have been the entire time keeping my house, right? At the time when I first started this business, I had already been homeless 3 times. Okay. I had a problem with money. I was not good with my money when I first started this business at all. I lost everything. I lost my apartment for a long time. I was couch hopping for a long time. And now I was about to be couch hopping again, but with a child the whole time. And so about 5 months in, I started realizing that my why should have never been this new truck all along. That's why I wasn't invested in my business. My why should have been that I needed to pay my house. I need to pay my mortgage, because without my mortgage, I was not going to have anything. And then once I have nothing again, and I go back to the chaos of couch hopping with a child on my hip, or losing my child because her father took her because he was more stable. Well, okay, well, what's going to happen then? So when I first started, my first why was a no-go. And I really started to have to dive deep into what I wanted my life to look like and what I didn't want it to look like. So a lot of our why is either what you are running towards or what you are running away from. I was running away from instability. I was running away from not having enough money to pay my bills. I was running away from not being able to pay my mortgage and losing my house. I was literally desperate to make this happen. And that is why I pushed through every single day. So I wrote that why down, that I need to pay my mortgage. I know you guys are going to think I'm crazy, but my mortgage is super cheap and I never paid it. It was $346 and I never paid it. How crazy was I, right? But when it came down to it, I was like thousands of dollars in the negative because I was like 4 and 5 payments behind. So, I wrote that down. I wrote down exactly how much I needed to pay my mortgage. And I knew that in order to pay that mortgage, I had to hit Ruby. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I had to hit Ruby and I had to get several fast start bonuses along the way. Guys, our fast start bonuses are our tiers now. So back then they were called fast start bonuses. We did not have the opportunity to make as much money as we can make now. You guys are in the right business at the right time, because the amount of money that you can make this year is just absolutely phenomenal. Back then it was nothing like this. So I knew that I had to make a certain amount of fast start bonuses and I had to get to my Ruby in order to pay my mortgage and keep my house. Why did I want that so bad? One, I wanted my child to not have to live in unstable. She was my biggest why. She was my biggest thing pulling me, because I thought of her like I thought of me when I was a little girl. I was super unstable as a little girl, and I was just repeating a cycle that my parents had taught me. And so when I was working this business right from the start and I was choosing my why, I thought about how horrible would it be if my child had to live the same exact life that I had to live, right? Because I chose not to change. How horrible would it be for us to not be able to pay for food for her, and I lose her because I can't afford to feed her, right? Just because I didn't push through and I didn't make a change. How horrible would it be for me to have to say no to her for birthday parties and being able to do all the fun things just because I wasn't willing to show up and show out, right? So she was my biggest why when I first started. And the first part was I needed to keep the roof over her head. So I wrote that down. I got a solid vision for what that would look like and what it would feel like. Guys, you got to pull from your emotion. So what I did was I wrote down, pay my house, the exact amount of what I needed to pay for it, and the date that I was going to get that paid off by, so that I kept my house. Along the way, we got the foreclosure notice. It scared the ever living crap out of me. And so it made me just work harder. I was like kind of that, just running. I was just running as fast as I could, because I knew that I was like, I had no time. I had to make it happen. So I wrote down the date. I wrote down when I wanted it by. I wrote down how much, and then all around it, I put the feelings, what I would feel, because we are emotional creatures. I wrote what I would feel when I accomplished that. And I would sit in it every single morning after I did personal development. I would sit in it and I would think about it, and I would talk about it with Matt, and I would say it out loud. And sometimes he thought I was crazy. I'm not going to lie. Most of the time he didn't even respond to me when I said it. But I was like, I'm going Ruby this month because I'm saving our house. I'm saving everything. Like, I am going to make it happen. I said it out loud over and over again. And at the time, nobody believed in me. You're going to get that a lot in this business. There's going to be a lot of people who are not going to understand what you're doing, and they're not going to believe in you. And you have to choose to just keep saying it and believe in yourself. Finally, take ownership. Finally, be the pilot of your own plane. Keep going, push through it, shout it out loud, no matter what people say about it, or no matter what people think about it. You've got a great team here where you can literally say whatever you want in that group chat and nobody's going to judge you, right? You can literally say, I want to make $1 million this year, and everybody in that chat's going to say you can. There's nothing stopping you, right? You can do it. It's not like everybody else on the outside who doesn't understand the industry. They don't see our compensation plan. They don't see the bonuses. They don't see the dream on your heart. That dream was not given to them. It was given to you. That is what you're supposed to walk into. So you have to stay headstrong. The best way to do that is to write it down, write down the date that you want it, write down why you want it, write down the amount that you want, and then the feelings that are all around it. Okay. So that's how I did it when I first started. So here's the thing. I started thinking about my feelings when it came to this why. And when it came to the why that I was thinking about every single day of paying my house so I could keep a roof over my child's head, here were some of the emotions that it pulled from. And I wrote this down because I want to share this with you. It made me feel hungry, almost like that desperation. Have you ever been there before? Like, drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever felt like you needed something, or it was like you either do or die. There was no other option. You had to make it happen, or that was it. That was your life right there, right? That's how I felt, that feeling of desperation. And it wasn't really like I'm gonna die if I don't get this. It was just I was hungry. And that's how I could describe it. I wanted it, like I wanted it, like I wanted it, and no one was gonna stop me. And that persistence came out of me like you wouldn't even believe. It was absolutely nuts. I felt emotional every time I thought about my why and keeping my house. I cried, guys. I bawled my eyes out. I thought about how much I needed this and how much I wanted it. I would cry to my sideline if they let me. I would cry to my upline if they let me. My direct upline quit, but I had other people who were in my upline above them that were like, I would sit there and I would cry and I would cry because I wanted it so bad. I was so excited. That was my other feeling. I was so excited. And the very last thing was I was afraid. Okay. How many of you guys are looking at your why and you are scared to death? Put a 2 in the chat if you are scared to death to look at this big goal and say, I've got this. I'm going to make this happen. Okay. I was afraid like to death. I was terrified to go for this. And the main reason why I was personally terrified, there was 2 main reasons. I was afraid to fail. I was terrified to put in all this work just to get nowhere. Anybody feel that? Anybody felt that before? I was terrified to put in the work just to fail, right? And the second reason was because I was terrified of what people thought of me. We live in this world of people pleasers. We are raised to obey people, not who we should be obeying, right? We are taught to obey other people, to listen to what they say and take it in and make it like it's the end all be all. If they don't like me, my life is over. So I had to make a decision when I first started this business to start growing my mindset. I had to start getting over myself and realizing that these people don't pay my bills. They are not going to lay next to me in bed at night. Maybe they are, I don't know, right? They are not going to do the work for me. They're not going to hand me a $5,000 paycheck and say, "Hey, here you go." I had to make the decision for myself that it was worth it for me. And it didn't matter what they said, it mattered what I said and what God called on my heart, right? So when I first started, those were the couple of things that really were on my heart: the fear of failure and the fear of what people thought about me. But what's really crazy is the fear of failure. Let's skip over to that real quick, okay? The fear of failure is inevitable. We're all going to feel it at some point in our life, whether we're going for a big bonus or whether we're working in a different industry or whether, we're all going to feel that fear of failure. And what's really crazy is that every single time that I failed in this business, and I'm going to share this with you guys, I failed a lot. Guys, I've built an entire diamond account myself 3 different times. I built Matt's account all the way to diamond 2 different times, and I'm working on a 3rd time for him right now. I have tried to go double diamond multiple times. I've tried to go triple diamond multiple times. I have tried for the Christmas bonus and failed. I tried for the success bonus my last time and failed, right? When it comes down to it, I'm taking those failures and I'm stacking them up like books and I'm climbing them every single day. I'm using every failure that I have, and guess what I'm doing? I'm opening up the chat like the new Ruby chat. How many of you guys love the Ruby chat? Drop a fire emoji if you love it, okay? I'm opening chats like the Ruby chat and I'm pouring myself into it, guys. Like I am being more transparent than I've ever been before. And the fact that you guys are coming back and saying how thankful you are, how grateful you are, holy crap, this is crazy, right? Those are things that I never heard before because I've never done it before. Was I afraid to fail? Was I afraid to open up that Ruby chat and say, oh my gosh, are these girls actually going to run for it, right? Because it's inevitable. Failure is inevitable. It's going to happen. There's going to be some of you that are going to fail again and again. All of us are going to fail. Actually, let's be real. We're all going to fail. And we're all just going to use it as the stepping stones to get to where we want to go. So that's exactly what I did to get to Ruby. I started realizing that failure was inevitable. It was going to happen. I read a book. It's called Failing Forward by John Maxwell. that shifted everything for me. If you are someone who's brand new and you just got started and you normally read your first year of network marketing, your next book's going to be Failing Forward, and we're going to get you started with that. Okay. If you have been with me for a while, you probably already read it and you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that failure is something that you have to go through because it makes you stronger every single day. So if your biggest fear is that, just know you're going to get through it. We're going to get through it together. We're going to push through it. We're going to realize that it's something that just happens. It's natural. You're going to try and fail again and again and again. How many of you guys got blocked from sending messages on Facebook already, right? How many of you guys have gotten blocked from adding people? Let's show our hands, right? Let's raise our hands. How many of you guys have gotten blocked from adding people already, right? How many of you guys have gone to do follow-ups and heard a no already? How many of you guys feel like have had that feeling already? Like, am I ever going to actually make this happen? Okay. Do you see how you're not alone? Do you see how every single one of us have gone through this same exact thing? You know what you're doing? You're following the same path that I just went down. And I went through it again and again and again, and I was willing to go through it again and again and again. You want to know why? Because that little girl that I started this business for, she's still watching me. She's still watching me every single day. She knows what it takes to get to the top. She knows how hard her mom works. She came in here tonight and she asked me, she said, what are you doing, Mom? I said, I'm working for a really big bonus so we can go to the jump park for your birthday. She said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I can't wait, right? That right there is in my head now. I need to hit this next level. You need to hit this level for something. Why? What is it? What is your why? Because that's what's going to pull you every single day, okay? Your why is either going to pull you, your why should be pulling you. It should not be making you drag your feet. If you feel like you're dragging your feet right now every single day, like you're not excited to work and make this happen every day, you've got to choose a new why, or maybe you've not even chosen a why yet. You should feel like a magnet is pulling you towards your why. Like you feel like God has laid something so big on you. And you're asking yourself, like, why is this like in my head? Why do I feel this pull? Anybody feel that pull when you're thinking about what you want to do? You just feel this pull. That's because that was what was placed on your heart. Like you feel like you need to keep going because it's meant for you. And even though it's scary, it's what was placed on your heart for a reason. It's for a purpose. There's a reason behind it. You are a part of a bigger puzzle piece. So you've got to take that feeling of being pulled towards it, run with it. It might not happen tomorrow. It might not happen next week. It might not happen next month. It might not happen this year, but it's going to happen if you just keep pulling yourself towards it. If you just keep following the same path, if you keep focusing on it, if you keep pushing for it, if you keep growing your mindset towards it, okay? That's where I'm at right now. That's where I'm at too. I have this feeling that it's pulling me. I'm being pulled. I'm being pulled. I'm being pulled. I know that it's meant for me. I know that it's meant for me because I'm afraid. I know that it's meant for me because I'm excited. I know that it's meant for me because I feel this like gut feeling that if I quit right now, I would be quitting way too soon. I can feel that. So if you feel that right now, that's why. If you don't feel that right now, it's because you've got to find your why. You've got to find why are you here? What is your real reason, right? Because it has to pull you. If it's not pulling you, you're dragging your feet, and that's not going to help you at all, okay? So know your why. You've got to, just like they said at conference, some of you guys were at conference, some of you weren't. At conference, they said you can't hit a target that you can't see, right? There's no way to get to the next level if you can't see that target. You're blindly throwing a dart and there's nothing there. You know, you've got to figure it out. It's like saying, hey, Chelsea, I want to go on a trip. And I say, okay, Ashley, where are we going? And you're like, I haven't really figured that out yet. Okay, how are we supposed to get there then, right? We've got to know where we're going in order to get to that destination. So that's part one. Let's move on to part two. Okay, this is charting. This is one of my favorite ones. I love numbers. So we're going to go over the Ruby charting very briefly. Stacy really elaborated on it her last Zoom call. So if you want to get into depth with it, I highly recommend watching that video that she talked about. Okay. So we already know who's going Ruby on here. So when it comes down to it, we've got the Ruby chart. If you don't have this written down or printed out or whatever, I just sketched it out, wrote it down just to make it happen. All my Ruby charts are taken up because I've got so many girls going Ruby on our team. But when it comes down to it, this is your Ruby chart. And you'll notice that you've got 3 different boxes on this Ruby chart. These are actually distributors that you are going to get on your Ruby chart. Now, every single distributor is going to have 400 group volume in sales directly underneath them, including yourself. As a total, you have to have 2,000 group volume underneath that. Like I said, I'm not going to go in depth in this because Stacy did it and she did a wonderful job. So this is your gist of your Ruby map, okay? Now with your Ruby map, I want to teach you the breakdown of how you make money with it. Because I know that Stacy talked about the actual map of Ruby and showed you exactly how to get there. But the breakdown of the money side is important because once you chose your why, now you get to break down your why into how much money you're making this month when you go Ruby, okay? So when it comes down to it, there's multiple different ways that we make money in this business. I'm going to break them down for you guys super, super fast because I have a video that talks about that too. And we have a board in our boards app for that as well. Number 1, sample cash. This is daily cash. You can make money off of any product that you have on hand that is individually packaged. Okay. I usually do like 3 coffees for $25 or skinny wrap for $25 or, I'll do 3 skinny hydrates for $25. People do different prices. Some people do like 4 for $20. It depends on what they're trying to do with it. I know our shipping is outrageous up here in Maine. So I've got to do what I've got to do to make sure that I can still push them out. Okay. So number 1, sample cash. You can go for it. You cannot go for it. It's totally up to you. Number 2 is your fast start bonuses or your tiers. You've got your tier 1 and your tier 2. Your tier 1 is when you get 4 loyal customers and a distributor. You get $150 just for doing that. Tier 2 is when you teach someone that you just enrolled how to get 4 loyal customers and a distributor within their first 30-day cycle. That's $350 for a leadership bonus just for helping someone else. How awesome is that, right? We get paid so much for helping other people. I love it. Okay. So now this is considered a cycle. So when you get 4 loyal customers and a distributor yourself and 4 loyal customers and a distributor for your downline, helping someone do the same thing, that's $500. And that's considered a full cycle. So here is 3 different cycles, right? Because you get 4 and 1, 4 and 1, 4 and 1. Then you get 4 and 1, 4 and 1, 4 and 1. That's $500, $500, and $500, equaling out to $1,500 in weekly bonuses this month. That's one of the things that we're going to end up getting. So when you do these cycles, you want to make sure you keep track on them. And I'm gonna explain this all kind of how it wraps together. But once you get the $1,500 in weekly bonuses, this also triggers a $1,500 success bonus that's paid out in your monthly commissions on the 15th of next month. So it's $500 weekly, $1,500 again in one lump sum on the 15th. Do you see how it's all adding up already with Ruby? Now, once you do this and you get your 4 and 1, 4 and 1, 4 and 1, you get 400 in sales underneath each person. And you get 2,000 group volume altogether. That will trigger your Ruby promotion. Ruby is an average of $400. So when I post this, I'm going to post the IDS with it too, so you guys can see. Ruby is an average of $400 in your commissions. That's paid out in all one lump sum on the 15th of March. And that happens every single month as long as you maintain and you hold your Ruby rank. Okay? Which a lot of people, they'll go up. You go from Ruby to Emerald to Diamond, and it will just keep growing and growing and growing. So with commissions, That is your third way that we get paid. So I said sample cash, fast start bonuses, your cycles, etc. Commissions is your third one. Now, this is what's really cool is that our company does incentive bonuses. And right now we have a Ruby bonus available for $500. That is spread out into month by month by month. You want to look at the official rules on your eSuite for that specifically. So not only are you getting all of these other ways that you're getting paid, the 3 other ways you're getting paid, but you're also getting a Ruby bonus, which is $500 on top of that. And that gets paid out, like I said, it's spread out over, I think it's like 4 or 5 months. You want to look at your rules for that. And then that's added to your commissions. And then number 5, the 5th way, is when you go to higher ranks like Diamond. This is something we'll talk about when we go Diamond. I'll do a whole nother series for Diamond, okay? So when you go Diamond, you get these things that are leadership level bonuses. They call them cabs a lot. For a while, we refrained from saying cabs at all. But this is adding money for every single person that you teach and you coach to get their cycle 2 or cycle 1, your cycle 2, their cycle 1. You get money added to your commissions every single month just for being their leader and teaching them. So our company is so good at allowing you to help other people. We are such a blessed company to be able to help other people and make money at the same exact time. The company pays you your own cut just for being a leader and helping other people. How awesome is that? Put a heart in the chat if you love that. So this is your success bonus. And this is how I break it down for myself every time. I hope you guys can see this. Maybe if I shine some light on it, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. But I literally break it down. Cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3. This is your success bonus. This is a $1,500 bonus. And I track them every single month. This is your 4 loyal customers distributor. Then teaching that distributor 4 loyal customers distributor. Then on the second cycle, same thing. 4 loyal customers distributor. Then I put a down arrow showing that that is from this distributor, 4 loyal customers and a distributor. If you write it down, you're going to be able to track it much better than keeping it right up here. If you choose to keep it right up here after I show you all of this tonight, you're as good as not getting any of these bonuses because you did not write it down and make it a plan. So we want to make sure we have a paper like this that shows your Ruby, so you know exactly what's going on. And we want to make sure that you have a paper like this showing your success bonus, so you know exactly what is going on. Okay, so I want to break this down for you guys because this is just the you know, just going lightly over the Ruby charting. If you want to see it, go watch Stacy's video. She actually has a video that explains how to find your charts, how to get your charting going, how to chart it every single month and stuff like that. Okay, this is going to be more so to give you guys a plan. How do we take this Ruby chart and how do we kill it? Okay, how do we like make it happen? Okay, so I like to break mine down. This is step 3 to earning your Ruby. If you guys didn't know, I was on step 2 before. Okay, step 3 to getting your Ruby is you got to break it down. You've got to make sure you have steps. I learned this from John Maxwell and reading tons of his leadership books. You've got to have steps to accomplishing a goal. You can't just accomplish it willy-nilly. You've got to know exactly what you're doing. You got to break it down for yourself. So when it comes down to it, I break it down into 4 weeks. If you are going for Ruby this month, that means that you have 4 weeks or 4 Fridays, I like to call it, 4 Fridays in order to make your Ruby happen. So I break it down. We know that we need 2,000 group volume, right? Let me move this over because I'm going to do some calculating for you guys. We know that we need 2,000 group volume altogether. It says it right here on that paper. Now, what I like to do is I like to break it down into 4 different weeks for that volume because we know that we need that team wide. So I know that if I need 2,000 group volume, I would say on our team is about 50 BV average. for loyal customers. That's also the bare minimum right now for loyal customers. So I like to break it down, and I will take 2,000 group volume and I will divide it by the average amount of bonus volume that each order will be. So let's just say we have 2,000 group volume and each order is 50 that we need to get. We need 40 customers to earn that Ruby from the start. Is this all making sense? Put a thumbs up in the chat if this is making sense to you guys. I want to make sure you're still with me. I'm talking this chat, not our team chat. Sorry, guys. I should have been more specific about that. Okay, so we've got 40. So now we know that we've got 4 weeks to make this Ruby happen, right? We've got 4 weeks. We know that we need 3 distributors and 40 loyal customers, 3 DTs. And if you're going for a success bonus on top of that, you need 6 distributors. Okay. So this is my thought on it. We're going to break it down into every single week, how many loyal customers that we need. If we know that we've got 4 weeks, we're going to take that amount of loyal customers. We're going to divide it into 4, which means we need 10 customers weekly. Now, your loyal customer might end up being like 149 BV, like mine was last night. That counts as almost 3 loyal customers right there. So you now just went from 40 loyal customers to only needing 37, just like that. You might get a couple of 100 BVs within one day. That's 4 loyal customers, right? So then you went from 40 loyal customers to needing only 36 loyal customers, just like that. You're going to count your loyal customers down, and you're going to see this in our chat too. You're going to count your loyal customers down. So 10 customers every week. Now for distributors, we're going to do the same exact thing. We know we need 6 distributors to hit a success bonus, and we know that we need distributors to trigger our Ruby on top of that. Okay. So let's just break that down into the 4 weeks. 6 divided by 4, we need about 1.5. You can't break a person in half. So I would say getting your first 2 loyal customers within this week, right? Getting your first 2, not loyal customers, sorry, my bad. Your first distributors within this week, your first 2. So 2 DTs weekly will make it so that the last week that you have, you won't have to get any distributors. You'll be able to hammer down on loyal customers like crazy because you'll already have your distributors in place. Not only that, but you're also going to have those distributors learning host to post right off the bat. Those distributors are going to come in. They're going to learn host to post every single day. Marina's been coaching a brand new girl named Courtney, and she's killing it with host to post right now, right? When it comes down to it, Courtney is going to end up triggering and helping her Ruby because she's going to end up signing her own loyal customers because she's putting in the work for her own 4-in-1. So this is how we work together. We get the teamwork going by counting our volume down, making sure that we know weekly how many you need, which for a Ruby from scratch, no volume on your chart at all. Whenever you want to get your Ruby, whatever date you have set for it, you need 40 loyal customers from the day that you started, and you need 2 distributors every single week in order to make that happen. So for those of you who are going for it this month, that means you need to get 10 loyal customers every single week. Now, just like Stacy showed you guys on that video that she did about Ruby, you can move your loyal customers now, which we are so excited about because you don't have to keep them for yourself anymore. You get to go for your ranks and you get to help other people more than we've ever been able to, or more than we've been able to since we started these success bonuses. So they changed the game for us when they did that. They're allowing us to move everything around to not only trigger our success bonuses, but to trigger our Rubies too, and to help our downline. So I'm super pumped about that. So once you figure out exactly how many you need every single week and you break it down for yourself, that's what you should have on your piece of paper. You should literally have it written down And every single loyal customer that you enroll, you should be updating your chart. You should be adding however much volume you added, put it on this side and subtract it from this side. So for example, if I got 100 VV, I would put plus 100 and I would put minus 300 because I no longer need 400 here. And then I would go up to my 2000 group volume and I would subtract that 100 from that 2000, and that would end up bringing me down to 1900 group volume that I need overall on my chart. And then I would go over here to my loyal customers, my 40, and I would subtract 2 customers from it, bringing it down to 38. The more you get those numbers to go down because you're enrolling loyal customers and distributors, the happier and more excited and more hungry you're going to get. Don't wait until the end of the month. This is one of my biggest tips that I'm going to give you guys, okay? Because when I first started my business, I waited until the end of the month to go for any of these. And it was the most chaotic, most anxiety-ridden time. I would skip out and I would wait and I would do fun things at the beginning of the month and then wait until the end of the month and say, okay, well, now I'm ready to go for my ruby, right? Or now I'm ready to go for my emerald. A lot of us are guilty of this. A lot of us do this, even leaders. As leaders, we've done this before, right? When it comes down to it, if you wait until the end, it's going to be the most difficult time and the most anxiety-ridden time that you will have. So my advice, go for it at the beginning of the month. Set your date that you want to make it happen by the 25th of every single month. If you're going for promotion every single month or a big goal every single month, put it as the 25th it needs to happen. The reason why I say this is because you will have the remaining of the days. This month is only going to be 3 extra days, but it's still, you're going to have the remainder of those days to get your next chart out, get your next goal out, figure out what you want going into the next month, help your new girls get their new stuff out, and you're going to be able to get yourself set up to run into that next month. Get your mindset right, get excited, celebrate for a night, you know, get pumped up about it and just know where you're going. So I always like to give myself that extra time. That's also a really great time to seal the deal with some distributors because you know that going into the next month, it's going to be crazy. What if you get some extra distributors for your emerald from the 26th to the 28th? Great. You're going to be going in that direction anyway, so you could get a jump start on the next promotion. Okay. So set your goal by the 25th and break it down weekly for yourself. Now, this is the last thing, and I'm going to leave you guys with this, okay? When I was going for Ruby, I broke down how much I was earning in bonuses every single week. I broke down how much I was earning in like the rank up bonuses, and I broke down how much I was going to earn for everything. So I want to share these numbers with you, and then I want to show you exactly how you're going to cast that vision for yourself when we leave here tonight. So the first bonus going Ruby that you're going to earn is a $1,500 success bonus. That success bonus is triggered, remember, when you get your 4-in-1 completely done. So you want to write this down on your piece of paper. $1,500 for a success bonus. Your second is going to be your $500 Ruby bonus. That is triggered when you earn Ruby. You're going to get that on top of your success bonus. Then $1,500 for your cycles being completed. These are weekly bonuses. So you can put right next to it, weekly bonuses. $1,500 all together. They're $500 weekly when you complete a whole cycle every single week. And the last one is $400 on average for your Ruby paycheck. Could be a little bit less, could be a little bit more. I always like to put that in there because fat Rubies pay way more. And when you make the bare minimum, they're a little bit less. So if you add all that together, that's $3,900 just by going Ruby this month. Just by getting 6 people who want to work with you and 40 people who want to try your products this month. And this is you and your team together. Are we excited? Put in the chat, what are you going to pay for with that? What is that going to do for you? What is the $3,900 going to pay for? How relieved will you feel? What are some emotions that it's going to pull from you? What is something that you've truly wanted that paycheck alone is going to change everything for you? Right? This is what I did. I wrote the $3,900 and then what will you pay for with it? Take that piece of paper, put it somewhere in your house that you're going to see it every single day. So for example, if I'm in my office, I've got my goal written right here on my whiteboard, written big. I've got it on my dream board over there. I've got it written on my bathroom mirror. I've got it written on my cupboards. Like I know people who have put sticky notes all over their cupboards with that number on it and what it's going to pay for. I've had people who have written affirmations like that $3,900 is going to pay for your light bill and your mortgage this month, right? So you can say it to yourself again and again and again. So you start believing in yourself. And that is number one, how you're going to get to Ruby. It's all what's up in here. It's your mindset. It's what you're telling yourself. It's whether you look at this and you're like, man, this is overwhelming. Or you look at this and you say, I can do this. This is scary. I'm going to admit it's scary, but I can do this, right? The more you tell yourself that you can, you can. When you tell yourself you can't, you can't. And that is fact. That is the end all be all. It's all about what you tell yourself that you can and can't do. And then I'm going to give you a couple of rapid fire tips. Okay. When I was going Ruby, I had to give up the good for the great. Okay. I had to decide whether paying my mortgage was more important than hanging out with friends on a Saturday night, wasting my time. I had to decide whether paying my mortgage was more important than me binge watching a TV show every single night. I had to decide whether paying my mortgage was more important than scrolling through Instagram and watching everybody's stories. Okay, we're all guilty of it, right? I see you, boo. I see all of you. When it comes down to it, everybody has done it. We've all been there, but we have to choose to give up what we want right now for what we want most. That is why it's so important to know your why, to know your plan, to break it down for yourself, and to know exactly what you're fighting for this month. Okay? You got to choose to show up even when you don't feel like it. I know Sarah, she's super sick right now, but that girl is still going. She's still making it happen, right? I know when I had COVID, I still showed up. I know I went on a whole trip to Florida. Was it crazy? It was chaotic. Oh my goodness. There were so many things happening throughout the day. But guess what? We still made it happen, didn't we? We still showed up every single day. We still stayed up until like midnight until Sarah passed out, just while she was working with her phone in her hand, we still made it happen. Your kids are going to be sick. Your life's going to go crazy. Your boss is going to treat you like crap. You are going to not feel good. You're going to be tired when you get home from work, but you still have to decide, is my mortgage more important or is sleep more important right now? Could I afford to stay up an extra hour later? Is my mortgage more important or is taking my time and sitting outside and talking with the neighbors more important, right? Gossiping about other people, is that more important or is paying a mortgage more important? There are so many different things that are going to come up in your life and you just have to decide what is the most important to you. Not what you want right now, it's what you want most. And that's what you got to figure out. So I hope that this helped you guys so much. Just give me some love in the chat. Tell me, a heart in the chat, whatever, if this helped you, if this made you feel like you can do it. Susan says she'd pay off her credit cards with that money. Miranda said that she'd pay off debt, credit cards, financially stable. I'm so excited for you. You're going to nail this, girl. Tina said bills, lawyers, debt. I know that's been hanging over your head, and I know that you can do this, Tina. Lauren, lower medical debt and save towards my own place. You can do it. I know that definitely sucks when you're with someone else all the time and you don't want to be there anymore. Pay some bills, get my ex-wife off my back. That's a good one, Sarah. So yes, absolutely. All of these things, all of these things can happen and you can do it and you can make it happen. But it starts with a why, it starts with a plan, it starts with breaking it down for yourself so that that big mountain doesn't look like a mountain anymore. That big mountain is just stepping stones, and you got to choose to figure out what each one of those stepping stones are, and then you just got to take one step forward every single day until you make it happen. So I hope this helped you guys. I love you guys so much. This is recorded. We're going to put it up on YouTube for you guys if you want to watch it. If you have a team member that is not on here right now, just know that, you know, when it comes down to it, we have a recording or my YouTube channel. They can watch a lot of these on there every single time. Show them some love. Tell them that you believe in them. And if you were sent this, that means that your upline believes in you. I love you guys so much and I hope you have a great night.